Good day. Welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. The federal government intends to deploy 3,000 Nigeria security and civil defense corps members to protect farms and agricultural investments in the country. Minister of Interior Abdulrahman Dambazao says the measure would stem cases of herdsmen and farmer clashes. Dambazao said armed the security officials would be specially trained in the act of protection and mediation in conflicts in the country.
I think we're expecting the release of funds. Already we have selected personnel within civil defense, about 3,000 of them. We're just waiting for the funds to send them for special training on that, so that they will be deployed appropriately. We do not need to actually put that specifically in the budget of these aspects and the cost. The second issue about enhancement is the fact that most of us think that the problem is localized, meaning that it's just a problem within Nigeria. This problem has a regional dimension, or even continental dimension. As long as we remain signatories to the World Protocol of Free Movement, this is an issue we have to deal with, because herdsmen move within the sub-region. The overall Protocol of Free Movement also recognizes that. But what it has provided is for every country to provide a reception area and also to be able to monitor the movement of the herdsmen. This is based on a decision, the board decision in 1998, which we have not implemented. Also, we will be required to implement that so that we'll be able to reduce a lot of these conflicts.
Nigeria's Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Udo Udoma, is giving more details on the 2017 budget. The 7.44 trillion naira budget was signed into law just last week by Acting President Yemi. It's expected to run concurrently until May 2018.
It's now over a week since Acting President Yemi Osinbajo signed the 2017 budget into law. The country is currently in a recession, though the government has repeatedly insisted that this budget will help improve the economy. At this gathering, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Udo Udoma, is explaining the essence of the budget and how it would be implemented.
The budget reflects our fiscal plan to restore the economy to the path of sustainable, inclusive and diversified growth. These are goals which were set out clearly in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. In the months ahead, we will work with the National Assembly to ensure that Nigeria returns to the predictable January to December fiscal year, so that to make planning for everybody much easier.
Before he goes into the details of the new budget, the minister takes a quick recap of the 2016 budget and its overall performance.
2016 was a very, very challenged year, very challenged. And we only managed to realize 76% of our revenue targets. And this was actually principally because of the foreign exchange shortages that we had. Because foreign exchange drives the whole economy. Once foreign exchange receipts go down, customs receipts go down. Companies do not do as well. So companies' income tax also goes down. The government agencies don't do as well. And so independent revenue also. In terms of expenditure, which is on the next slide, the highlight of it is that notwithstanding the fact that we only got 76% of revenues, we managed to spend an unprecedented amount of money on capital, 1.2 trillion. And this is because it is the capital spend that gets the economy going again.
Despite the mixed performance of the 2016 budget, the minister is positive that the 2017 budget will perform much better. He explains how the government intends to fund the budget and its expectation for the economy.
One thing that we, as an administration, were determined to do was to reverse the direction of movement of the Nigerian economy. And I can assure you that we have, because the performance of the first quarter shows that we are now moving back towards growth. I did mention about the foreign exchange scarcity and the high unemployment. So our approach to the 2017 budget was to make sure that we had a targeted budget aimed at stopping, reversing the slide of the economy and moving us back on the path of growth. As we indicated in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, our objectives are: 1, to restore and sustain growth, to invest in our people, and to build a globally competitive economy. And 11% of the projected revenue is expected from recoveries of looted, misappropriated funds and fines. People keep on asking, the money that you recover, what are you using it for? We're using it to fund the budget. We're using it to fund infrastructure, to fund the roads, to fund the rail, and so on. So it is an element of the budget revenue projection.
The 7.44 trillion naira budget has been tagged the budget of recovery and growth. For now, the government has earmarked 350 billion naira for capital expenditure. Nigerians can only hope the positive expectations yield positive results.
Managing Director of Capital Oil and Gas Limited, Ifeanyi Uba, has regained freedom after 5 weeks in custody of the Department of State Services. An aide to the business mogul, Ikechukwu Onya, confirmed that Uba was released on Monday night. He is accused of economic sabotage and diversion of petroleum products to the tune of 11 billion naira. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged the United Nations to compel the federal government to investigate the deaths of 3 Queen's College students. The students lost their lives following a cholera outbreak in the school earlier this year. SERAP wants special mediators to pressure the federal government and authorities of Queen's College to urgently end the worsening living conditions of girls in the school and other unity schools across the country. The management of Etisalat Nigeria has been taken over by a consortium of Nigerian and foreign banks. This follows the inability of the telecom company to repay a loan of $1.72 billion. The takeover became effective on June 15, 2017. Etisalat Group, the parent company of Etisalat Nigeria, announced the takeover on Tuesday in a filing to the Abu Dhabi Securities Agencies in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has yet again violated conditions of the bail granted to him by a federal high court in Abuja. On April 25th, the court granted him bail on health grounds and ordered him not to grant press interviews and avoid being seen in a crowd of more than 10 people. But Kanu has not only addressed hundreds of his supporters, he has also granted media interviews in the past few weeks. Just last month, he told Al Jazeera, an international agency, that he was not bothered about landing in trouble over his actions. In a recent video shared by Biafra TV, Nnamdi was seen walking in the midst of hundreds of his supporters. U.S. envoy to Nigeria, Stuart Simonton, says the U.S. is committed to Nigeria's security. Simonton called on the state government to work with the U.S. towards setting a new pace in socio-economic development. He says Nigeria's unity remains priority of the U.S. government. Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu is asking the federal government to decentralize its powers. Ekweremadu says the powers of the federal government are currently too big and needs to be reduced. He says only when powers are reduced at the center, other states can have freedom to achieve their full potential. The federal government has expressed its commitment to establish dry ports or inland container depots in the country to create jobs for unemployed youths and diversify the Nigerian economy. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi said this on Tuesday during the final inspection of the Kaduna Inland Dry Port. Amechi commended the Kaduna State government, saying its support was highly appreciated. The federal government has arraigned 5 men accused of kidnapping some pupils and members of staff of a school in Isheri, Ogun State on January 13, 2017. Office of the Attorney General of the Federation had, on June 1st, charged the 5 alleged abductors before the Federal High Court in Abuja after taking over the case from the Nigerian police force. The prosecution described the acts as acts of terrorism, which are punishable by life imprisonment under the Terrorism Act of the country.
Corruption not in my country.
That was a very good business.
Yeah.
The furniture you brought was very perfect.
That's how we roll.
Because then let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much was it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
Mbano. The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I don't do business like that now. Yeah.
In that case, give me back my check. Let me go and look for someone that understand business.
Take.
Your loss.
It is only for incorruptible customers. What are you talking?
Now get out.
What kind of this?
You will just die.
No,
You will die.
That is the door. Now get out from here.
Rubbish.
Look, my people, make una only add money for original invoice price. That's not corruption. Say no, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Up next, we have business news with Fidelia Aguncha.
Thank you, Thelma. Nigeria's central bank have pumped $195 million into the foreign exchange market as part of its effort to improve dollar liquidity and reduce pressure on the local currency. The intervention comes as the Nigeria's foreign exchange reserve fell for 9 days in a row from $30.29 billion to $30.20 billion. The central bank has been intervening on the official market in recent months to try to narrow the spread between the rates on the official market and the black market. So far, it has sold over $5 billion since February 2017. Nigeria seeks to improve its collection of revenues from taxes and custom duties to fund the country's record 7.44 trillion naira 2017 budget. The Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, made this known during a public review of the spending plan. The budget minister said the government was making strenuous efforts to find the resources required to implement its 2017 spending plan. Shell is considering whether to invest in a gas project in Nigeria's southern Niger Delta energy hub. The company says it's on the verge of making a final investment decision on a project in the city of Asha that would have a capacity of 300 million cubic feet. Nigeria has the world's 9th largest proven gas reserves at 187 trillion cubic feet. Oil prices fell about 1% to a 7-month low as more signs that rising crude production in the United States, Libya, and Nigeria weakened OPEC-led efforts to support the market with output curbs. Brent crude fell 46 cents to settle at $49.91 a barrel, while US crude futures dropped 54 cents to settle at $44.20 a barrel. Both benchmarks are down more than 15% since late May, when producers led by OPEC extended 9 months their pledge to cut output by 1.8 million barrels per day. That's all on business. More stories coming up. Stay tuned.
Corruption not in my country.
Mr. John! Mr. John! What is it now?
What is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. Eh? What's wrong with you? Is there another person complaining?
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. Remember, I paid my house rent too.
You will not understand why we are complaining, because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you, and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption not in my country. Oh, you know, go to your bank. Oh.
Corruption not in my country.
Officials in Somalia say at least 10 people have been killed in a bomb attack in the capital Mogadishu. A vehicle loaded with explosives rammed into a security barrier outside a government building in the southern district of Wadajir. Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab, in a statement carried by the site intelligence agency, said they were behind that attack. UN says a government-backed militia in Congo has committed horrific crimes in ethnically motivated attacks. This includes cutting off toddlers' limbs and slicing open pregnant women. The accusation comes after a report accused the militia of killing over 3,000 people in the Kasai province since last October. The United Nations had previously said hundreds died in the violence. Rivers United is facing a tough fight to keep their Confederation Cup hopes alive. The 2016-2017 NPFL runners-up face Uganda's Kampala's capital city and must win to keep their hopes alive in the tournament. They are currently bottom of the Group A with just 3 points from 3 games. Real Madrid striker Cristiano Ronaldo will appear in court over his tax evasion charges on July 31st. The Real Madrid star faces no formal charge at this stage and is appearing in court as an investigated person. Prosecutors allege that Ronaldo had defrauded the tax authorities of over 14 million euros between 2011 and 2014. He has since denied the accusations. Meanwhile, Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho has joined the list of high-profile names charged by Spanish authorities for tax evasion. The charges relate back to his time as Real Madrid manager between 2010 and 2013. Prosecutors allege Mourinho defrauded authorities over 2 million euros in 2011. The Portuguese is yet to respond to the accusations. Well, that's all we have on news now. Thanks for watching. I am Thelma Okoro.